What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Tuesday, August 4th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on the Odds Headquarters Odds Squad here, ready to rock. We have 25 games. MLB, 13 games. NBA, 6 games. 6 NHL games to cap right now. We're going to be moving fast and furious, but here, there's no time limit. It's our show, baby. We get to go as long as we want, but we're not going to try to go too long. We've got to break this down, though. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat rolling with us today. Great to see you all. Buzznut721 in the house. Swervin. Tyler Hanna ready to go. Yenny Toon. There's Aunt L, our special guest, who's going to help us break down these 13 MLB games. We're going to be bringing him on in seconds. Michael Lopez in the house. Dav Fenn. Jordy Nordman in the house. Jordy, sorry, I still haven't got back to you. I saw that you asked about if I have an app that breaks down, that gives me the ROI and the units and the average line. No, I use spreadsheets, Jordy, and I'll DM you and I'll get you the hookup for all that. There's Reese in the house. Dennis Garcia starting with New York, Florida under 5. I've already made bets in MLB, NHL, and NBA. I can't wait to go over them, and they're going to be some additions. There's Guillermo Zertucci in the house. Is looking forward to Saturday. Yes, this Saturday. Traverse Stakes Special. All day horse racing back in action here on Betting with the Bag. Reese, Islanders, Canucks, Jackets, and Yotes money line. I'm on the Nucks, but I'm also on the Predators. And I expect Pecorine to be in goal. And I expect memory of Braden Holtby not getting the first game start when the Capitals went on a big run. We'll see if that happens, but that is my prediction. There's Leon in the house. I don't trust Barrios. Sorry, I just passed that way too fast. Says, looks like there's some money coming in on the Pirates, even though the public is with the Twins. I don't trust Barrios, but he has a team that already bailed him out once. There is Dan Kelly in the house. Says, nothing's ever made me as happy as the melding of sports and politics. These games are just so much more fun to watch with the genius and empathy of the players is on display with their athletic talents. He says not. Yes, we do. We do love the basketball, though. There's still basketball being played. Dan Kelly. There's Tonino and Drago in those. Raise your sharp picks today at 1:30 p.m. right when this show ends. He may have to start before the show ends. Sorry, because we have 25 games to cap ratio, but I'm gonna go as fast as possible so we can roll right into. Look at there. Look, we got Barry Gockner. Barry, it's been too long. Great to see you. There's Ron Lofton in the house. William McInnes. Ryan Kozlowski. Ryan Kozlowski's got action up here. Kanaskat. Tim Montana. Cash action bets. Bada boom. Bleds W. Gonzalo says, great read on the Penguins game. Thank you. You know, I don't usually accept the pats on the back, but yeah, it's fucking glorious. Habs under 1.5 goals at plus 190. Penguins -1. It was a fucking game of beauty. Made just under $500 on that shit. Mark Unkefer in the house. Connor McLaughlin. Viper MB. Jermel Wright. Mr. Gokster. 8-3 start to the NHL campaign. All first periods for Mr. Gokster. There's Mark Unkefer. Rob T. Connor McLaughlin. Coactus. We've missed you. We love your family. Coactus joining us. There's Trot Wham in the house. I'm going to put a link to Trot Wham's video. Trot Wham's Wham Bam plays of the day. Cash the first two easily. And I'm with them on the third one. We're going to get into that. And I've doubled up on that game. Put a little prop bet on that as well. There's the Die Hard MMA podcast in the house. Said, I don't know how to bet this Yotes game. I feel like the president side of my soul wants to. I was staring at that over 5 too for hours and hours and hours. Marco Lou in the house. What a great group. Reese, Jermel Wright, Viper MB, Connor McLaughlin. Time to get to work right now. To do that, we're going to bring in our esteemed guest, our MLB expert, Mr. Ant L in the house. What up, Ant? How you doing, my man?
Hey, Jimmy. What's up?
Things are good.
I'm doing great. I went 5-0 in baseball yesterday. I had 3 games where after the 5th inning, the Reds were losing. The Twins were down 4-0. The Rockies were down 4-1. All of them losing after the 5th inning. Somehow, all 3 won. I don't know how that happened, but I'll take it.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff. And we had the debut of your night show last night. Tell us a little bit about that show and how often are you guys going to be doing it?
I've been talking with the bosses at Odds, and hopefully at least maybe 3 times a week, we're going to work out that schedule. The debut, I already consider the debut a success because if you watched the show last night, I gave out 2 totals that I like the unders on. An hour and a half after we went off air, the price on the Rangers total already went down. And if you're looking at the other one was the Nats Mets, I said under 9.5 at minus 105 last night. I said this is moving. Not only is it no longer 9.5, it's 9 in juiced to the under 9, which tells me it's probably going to go to 8.5. So you could beat market moves by a full run like that. I mean, I don't even care how the game wins up. I know I'm going to win long term doing that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great work. Here we got Antel. We got 13 MLB games, and we need to make moves quickly. Let's get to work right now. We are going to start. Oh, first off, it was a very good week for me last week. All very helpful. The days that we had Antel on the show and the day we had Noli Knows were very, very nice days. Ron Crawford continues to eat. He's got his spreadsheet play today, but I'm now 24 wins, 17 losses on the short season, 58.5%. I'm up 5.86 units, ROI plus 14.29%, average line minus 105. That average line is it was plus for a while. It's because we're using legal American books, and I fear that average line is going to end up plus minus 110. But we'll see how that works. All right, let's get to work. Max bet on Nationals and Brewers from Gas Station Sushi. I'm also on those Nationals. But we're going to start here with Pirates at Twins. 73 Fahrenheit clear, 4 miles per hour, out to right center. Musgrove, Berrios. The Pirates, who Matt was talking about being up on the Twins yesterday, the Pirates are hitting lefties. They're not hitting righties. 160, 486 OPS, first righties. They can't get a hit on them. Berrios, 9 innings so far this year. 2 games, started 0-1, 10 hits, 7 earned runs, 7 Ks, 3 walks. Last year, he was very good. 3.68 ERA, 1.22 whip, 200 innings, 195 Ks, 51 walks. Twinkies have won 4 straight coming off that win last night. Cruz is now tied for the league lead in RBIs. And Berrios looked much better in his last start against the Indians. He gave up 2 runs, 3 hits over 5 innings, struck out 6, and walked 2. Josh Donaldson expected to travel, but not expected to play. And now we get another look at Musgrove, who gave up 3 runs in 5 innings in both of his starts, both losses to the Cardinals and the Brewers. Let's see what we're talking about with market moves before we send it over to our man, Antel. Twinkies open up at minus 210. They're now at minus 220. At Bet365. You can get them for under minus 200 at a couple different books. This total opened at Bet365 at 9. It's now at 8.5. And L, what do we do with Pirates Twinkies?
Yeah, this game's a tough game to bet for me. Musgrove, looking at Musgrove, he hasn't looked good in his first couple starts this year. I think they worked with him on trying to get his strikeouts up, trying to avoid contact, and he has gone up. He's gone way up on his Ks this year. He's got a very high K percentage, but he's walking a shitload of guys too. He has he's given up 4 home runs, and his BABIP is at 238. I looked at that BABIP through 2 starts at 238, and I've talked about BABIPs before, where like a league average BABIP is right around 300, give or take 10 percentage points. So I'm like, wow, he's given up a lot of runs. He's got a low BABIP. That's going to come up. He's a guy who I'm looking to want to have to fade. The problem is he's on a terrible team, so you're paying a price to fade him. Berrios, I'm not worried about that first start against the White Sox. He looked pretty good in his last start. The White Sox have been on a roll this year with their offense. They have like the 2nd or 3rd ranked offense in WRC plus this year. Honestly, this game to me is there's slight. If you could get the Indians below minus 200, which they are at a few books, you give them like minus 195 here and there. There's a little bit of value there. I know a lot of people don't like laying that kind of number. So if you want to just go for like a Twins -1 at like say a minus 150 or a Twins run line. I mean, I'm not a fan of taking home team run lines, but I'll do it occasionally. If you want to basically long story short, this is a Twins or pass. I mean, I have this game marked at about minus 230. So if you can get them at minus 200, some variation of a run line or -1 to get your juice down, there's a little bit of value there. But to me, a little bit of value isn't enough to bet on. So this game's a straight out pass. I was looking at Twins team totals, but even that's like 5.5. And I'm not really interested in betting team total overs at 5.5.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. I did punch in them to see what the -1 would work out to with the Twins. It was just not worth it.
Yeah.
Although I could understand somebody betting it and maybe using it, the -1 as a parlay piece.
Yeah, you could get the run line. Looks like around -115. You can get the -1. I mean, the -1 looks like about 160-ish. So it's just a pass for me. I'm not afraid to lay -200, but I want the line to be. I think if I'm going to lay -200, I think the line should be like -250, -270. And here I have that line about 230. So pass.
Pass. I agree. Pass. A lot of people talking NHL here in the chat. We're going to go MLB, NBA, NHL. I can't wait to talk about it all. That's game 1 of 25. Let's keep rolling. Adam Ray says, what about Berrios over 5.5 Ks? Berrios was 7 Ks in 9 innings so far, which would lead me to pause. The righties the Pirates have, also, they don't have a ton of – they ticky-tack. They're not homer or nothing kind of hitters. What do you think of the over 5.5 for Berrios strikeouts?
I'd have to know the juice because if it's like -120, -130, I'd have to pass on that. If you're getting like a plus number, like maybe +110, that's definitely an interesting prop. But you also got to think about Berrios is not a huge strikeout pitcher. He averages about 8.5 strikeouts per 9 innings, and they could take him out after 5 innings here.
Definitely.
I mean, they're pulling starters pretty quick this year. So after 5 innings, if he goes 5 innings and gives up 2 runs, I mean, they might pull him and just have him go and just run their bullpen the rest of the game. So
Agreed.
5.5, that's a sharp line by the books. I'd probably stay off of that.
And at Bet365, it's -140 to the over. So let's move on to Indians, Reds. I don't care. I shouldn't say I don't care. I understand what Shane Bieber did last year, and he himself says he wasn't a strikeout pitcher. He says it. 259 Ks and 214 and a third last year would tell you that he is a strikeout pitcher. 37 Ks and 14 innings is 37. That's got to be 27. Sorry, 27. Sorry, I was like, what the hell?
It's a shitload either way.
27 Ks. Sorry, 27 Ks and 14 is incredible. And look, is the market a little bit behind? Is it? We cashed that 6.5 so easily last time that I did go right back to the well. I'm on the over strikeouts. I got 7.5 at +100, and I couldn't stop myself from making the bet. Let's see what it is.
Why would you stop yourself from making that bet?
Exactly. And that so it's a +100 to the over, -140 to the under. It's still there, +100 to the over. Yes, William McKinson went over. Yeah, over 7.5 Ks. Look, I couldn't. I did it. So let's talk about this spot right now. Cleveland, Cincinnati. That's my only bet on this game. Cleveland opens up at -170. They're now -160. This total went from 8 to 7.5. It's Bieber versus Molly. The Indians aren't hitting righties at all. 179, 530 OPS versus righties, which made me think under, but everybody else was thinking under as well. I looked at that first 5. It's very low. Reds are hitting righties with power, not average. Indians have lost 4 straight. We know that Bieber is 27 strikeouts first 2 outings. That matches the mark set by Carl Spooner in 1954 Brooklyn Dodgers. I mean, the guy's just a monster, and he's confident. Votto has come back from COVID, or what he thought was COVID symptoms, and he's playing well. The Reds are playing well. We don't know if Senzel will be in the lineup.
That homer last night got me the win from Votto. 2-run bomb.
It was great. And I love Votto. I love that I like the way how he handled all of this COVID stuff, unlike the star second baseman of the Marlins who's just going to leave his team. Indians, Reds, what do you think?
I love Shane Bieber. I loved him last year. I'm like, this guy is going to be an absolute stud for the Indians here, and he has been. I mean, 54% K rate right now, a .57 WHIP. He in 2 starts, he has a pitcher WAR of 1.1. So just to explain that to people, to already have accumulated a 1.1 WAR after just 2 starts is insane. So he cannot have had a better start to the year than he has. The only problem is the Indians aren't hitting worth a shit. They're terrible on the offense right now. They have 59 WRC plus, and WRC plus, in my opinion, is the most important offensive statistic. That is weighted runs created plus. That's the team's expected runs created versus league average. 100 is league average. So 59 WRC plus is way below league average. It's actually 29th out of 30 teams right now. It's that bad. And I'm looking at Molly, or Male, however you pronounce that kid's name. Nothing stands out to me. Like, he's not bad. He's not that good. I mean, he's got average numbers across the board. He's good enough to shut down. I mean, we all know what Bieber can do. Maley's numbers is good enough to shut down a very weak Indians offense here. And until the Indians can start hitting, I'm going back to this well, and I'm going to bet it every game. First 5 under 4, I got it at even money about an hour and a half ago. So if you could get even money minus 105 on an under 4 on the first 5 for the Indians here, I think that's a pretty good look. Because I don't see this game. I mean, you could probably push, like if the Indians fall into one and hit a 3-run homer, I mean, it could be 3-1 after 5 innings. But I don't really see how 5 runs get scored here in the first 5. So I'm looking first 5 under 4 here at even money. That is my play.
I like it. I took a long look at it. It's not even money at Bet365, but it's still, I guess it's now minus 115. It's getting bet. I'm going to stay off of it. I've got the Biebs over 7.5 Ks at plus 100, but I can completely understand your look here, and it makes a ton of sense. Let's keep rolling. We have 11 games left on the MLB card. Red Sox, Rays, Red Sox 3-7, 2-3 on the road, going up against the suddenly poor-looking Rays, 4-6. Not a very nice run for them away from Tampa. Eovaldi, 2 games started. He's been the only pitcher that can be counted on for the Boston Red Sox. 11 innings, 3 earned runs, 3 hits, 8 Ks, 2 walks. He was terrible last year. And Morton is somebody that you believe in, and I was very curious what you think now after a couple games. His velocity is down 3 miles per hour from his fastball. Red Sox, Rays open up at minus 145. They're now minus 140, so a 5-cent move towards the Red Sox, and this total has gone from 8.5 to 8. Rays have lost 5 straight. They're only hitting 204, 649 OPS versus righties. We talk about how the Red Sox offense has been good, but that's just against lefties. Against righties, they're 220, 636 OPS. So Rays enter the series after getting swept by the Orioles. They're batting as a team, 210. Margot 3 for 30. Renfroe 6 for 33. Tetsugo 6 for 30. And Morton looks like it's questionable whether he's going to pick up that velocity because he's getting older. And we have Eovaldi, 2-4, 5.45 ERA, 8 career appearances against the Rays. Red Sox, Rays, Ant, take it away.
Yeah, I looked into this game because I was trying to figure out like what's causing this to happen with Morton. His velocity's down. Last year, when another Rays pitcher was getting batted around and killed, it was Blake Snell, and I looked in and I found like his spin rates went down. So I was pretending, okay, he's probably going to go on the AA, or he's probably going to go on the DL soon. And I was right. It was a spin rate issue, and he had a lingering problem. I didn't find that, though, with Morton. His spin rates are still about the same. It's just a velocity decline. I don't know what's going on with Morton. It might just be, he had a couple bad starts to start the year, and he'll turn things back around. You have to be able to trust this guy. He's been elite starting pitcher for the last 3 years. He was 3rd in Cy Young voting last year. Does 2 starts really mean he's in the trash now? I'm going to say no, but I am going to stay off this game. If he looked the way he should look, if he looked the way he did last year, I find a way to get on the Rays here. But I don't trust him right now. I'm going to have to see another game or two, see if that was just a hiccup or if it's just or maybe he's lost it. I don't know. That velocity decline is worrisome, but the Rays still have a good bullpen. Eovaldi's been a little bit above average. The Rays offense has been bad. I'm looking at this game to me is a pass, but if you could get the Red Sox at plus 135, I would lean towards a play on the Red Sox here because Eovaldi has looked pretty decent.
I agree. I think it's a nice breakdown. I think maybe the play is on the Red Sox. We talk about not getting in the way of streaks, and you just wish the Red Sox had won a couple games going into this.
Yeah.
The Rays are they've lost 5 straight.
In the Red Sox defense, they did just get done playing 3 games against the Yankees.
Absolutely.
So,
and they didn't look terrible.
Yeah, the pitching was terrible. But, Aaron Judge will do that to you.
Joseph Montoro says, we need horses back. There is a horse show on Odds HQ starting up with our guy Razor Sharp Picks is going to be rocking a horse show today. But we at Odds HQ are doing a giant show on Saturday for the Travers Stakes. I might have got that mixed up. Is Razor's show might be actually on his channel? Shit, sorry. Maybe I just gave you faulty information. Let me just find this out very, very quickly here. Is Razor's show? Okay. I'll have to. No, yeah, Razor. Okay, I have no idea. Sorry. So maybe Cynthia can tell. Oh, it's on Razor's channel. Okay, it's on Razor's channel. But we're going to be going heavy here, Joseph Montoro, on Saturday. Heavy for the Travers Stakes, just like old times. It'll be 8 to 10 hours of horrifying roller coaster ride. Okay, and Cynthia says we will do Thursday again. So Thursday will be Razor Sharp Thursday night, and then I will be all day Saturday. Okay, let's keep rolling along now. Mets Nationals. This is a spot where I'm going to be bullish until it goes wrong. Absolutely bullish.
Ooh, I like some of that.
The Nats against lefties. And they have Soto coming back. Soto bouncing around the clubhouse with his giant smile makes everybody so happy. He's back. He thinks it might have been a false positive for COVID because he's felt like he's money in the bank. Look at these Nats versus lefties. 405 average, 1.147 OPS without Soto. You're going to give me Patrick Corbin up against Steve Matz. I took the first 5 -0.5. I took the full game -1. For the first 5 -0.5, I got -115. For the full game -1, I got -111. I'm going to be hammering this nonstop. Matz has fine numbers. 3.41 in 12 starts, 3.41 ERA, 12 starts against the Nats, but he's 1-5. He allowed 3 runs over 5 1/3 against the Red Sox. That's, Red Sox hit lefties. Nationals for me here. And what do you think here, Mets Nats?
I had a play on this game last night. I gave out the under 9.5, and now it's moved to 9. I still like an under 9 in this game. So I think even though the line's now at under 9, I still think there's value there. I love Corbin. I've been preaching Patrick Corbin for a couple of years now. I wrote him a lot the last year he was with the Diamondbacks. I think he was like one of the top Cy Young candidates that year. Great stuff. He's had about a 30% K rate over the last 3 years. There's really nothing bad to say about Patrick Corbin. On the other hand, Matz is pretty good starting pitcher too. A lot of people forget about Matz because he's in that rotation with guys like Syndergaard and DeGrom. So they haven't talked about him a lot, but his career numbers are good. He's got a 4.03 ERA, 4.33 FIP, 4.11 Sierra, and that includes a terrible year. I think it was like 2017. He just had an absolutely terrible year. So I also look at these offenses here, and the Nats still have not really shown much offense. I know they got Soto back, so they should be a little bit better, but their WRC plus is still at 90. That's below league average. They're still hitting for a low average, about 244. And the Mets offense is lights out right now. They have 116 WRC plus. They're hitting over 260. And the Mets bullpen, you take away two meltdowns against the Braves, their bullpen's still above average. They have elite arms in that bullpen. And I'm against you on this. I actually have this game lined at about a coin flip. So I'm taking the Mets at plus 138 full game to give me 9 innings where, I trust the Mets bullpen. A lot of people think, bullpens can be volatile. So people see one blow up and they think the bullpen sucks, but that's not factual. The Mets bullpen is still a top 5 bullpen in this league. The Nationals bullpen's kind of average. I think Matz is good enough to shut down a below average Nationals offense. Even with Soto back, the Nationals offense is still below average. I do think Corbin's the better pitcher, but I'm capping more than just the starting pitching matchup. I'm also capping the lineups. I'm capping the bullpens. And you mix all that together, I have this go. Give me plus 138 flipping coins, and I'll take it.
The injuries, the Jeff McNeil, lower back tightness, was late scratch Monday. We don't know if he's going to be in the lineup today. Ahmad Rosario, not going to be in the lineup today. Robinson Cano, not going to be in the lineup today.
Yeah. Cano's in the twilight of his career.
I hear you. And so is Cespedes, who we hope will never be seen again.
What a douchebag.
I can't believe he left like that. What a guy. What a guy. You know what? It does make me nervous that you're against me here. But I think that the people seeing what the Nats are early in this season aren't seeing what they're doing against lefties without their best player. And I think I'm going to be in business here. I look forward to discuss this with you throughout the evening.
Hey, if I get the under and you get the Nats, I'll push on the game, so I don't care.
I feel you. Ulysses Hayes says weather may be a factor with the hurricane, but right now it's 81 Fahrenheit clear. Not right now. For game time, 81 Fahrenheit clear, 7 miles per hour out to center. All right, let's keep rolling. Jays, Braves. Man, I came close, very close to a couple spots. I stopped myself on the first 5 under. Shoemaker was really complaining about being not in his rhythm and how important rhythm is. And then I was very close to backing the Braves first 5, but I think it's dangerous counting out these Blue Jays. But they're back off of a break. They haven't played since Thursday. They had lost 2 straight. Spent the last 5 days working out in Washington. They aren't hitting lefties, 196, 477 OPS. And Fried looks very, very good early this year. Shoemaker, I expect him to be a good pitcher this year. But the amount that he complained about being out of his rhythm with this start took me off of the first 5 under. Let's see what Aaron has to say about it. Atlanta's played 11 straight days. They're a tired group. And Fried looks very dangerous. And Fried's always been good in interleague start. Well, 4 starts, small sample size, but 4-0, 2.22 ERA. And we've got a goal from the Panthers. Blue Jays, Braves. And let me give you the market move very quickly here. My fault here. The market move for this spot. Braves open up at minus 160, 15-cent move towards them, and this total went from 9 to 8.5.
Yeah, this is one of those games where I like where the line's at because the line to me is about accurate. I love Max Fried. He's really good pitcher for the Braves. He's got in a short career, 3.76 ERA, 3.74 FIP. Shoemaker, on the other hand, he should be a pretty decent starting pitcher, but there's not a lot there. I think he's missed a lot of the last couple of years, hasn't he? I was looking at that. So there's really not a lot of a sample size to really accumulate on how good I think Shoemaker's going to be. Although from some of the numbers I've seen before, he's been out the couple of years with probably injuries, it looks like. He's a pretty decent pitcher. So if he pitches to that potential, I could definitely, see him being able to hold down the Braves here, especially since the Braves, if they're getting tired because they've played all these games in a row, they could be worn out. I'm just looking at this game where I like I like the Blue Jays lineup. I think they have a lot of pop in it. I think it's underrated still because the guys are so young. Their WRC plus throughout the beginning of the year it's a little bit below average, 92, but they did have to face national starting pitching in a lot of those games. The Braves offense has been pretty average so far this year. Not bad, about right around 101 on their WRC plus numbers. The bullpens, both the bullpens have looked pretty good at the beginning of the year. Their bullpen fit for the Braves is 298, but you also got to think the Braves bullpens pitched 20 more innings. So are those guys going to get tired if Fried can't go more than 5 innings? To me, this game is currently a pass, but if and we see this a lot with favorites get steamed a lot. If sometime before game time, if I can get the Blue Jays at plus 170, I'll take it. At the current price, I'm passing, but I will be targeting a price of plus 170 for the Blue Jays.
I'm going to pass. I just feel like with the Jays off for 5 days, and then the exact opposite with the Braves is an exhausted group, 11 straight days of playing early in the year. Leroy said, what about the first 5 under? Again, Shoemaker just whining about being out of the
whining now, man.
Bada Boom is on Toronto first 5 money line. Leo Leon says depends how deep he goes. If he goes 5 innings, it's just 5 Ks. That's talking about the there's a question about whether or not Max Fried over 5.5 strikeouts. Fried is not what's he done this year? So 12 Ks and 11 2/3. That's right on pace to what he did last year. Von Polo, I can't wait to talk about the Brooklyn game, and I know it pops off in an hour, but we're going to do basketball next, so we'll get to it before it goes. I'm excited about it. Let me just leave it at that. I'm off this. Ant may make a move. Now, do we have a line for Marlins Orioles? We do. Now we do. So we're going to see Lopez for the Marlins. Means for the Orioles opens up at minus 135, and he's still at minus 135. I wonder when this came up. I was waiting for it all day. 81 Fahrenheit, 79 miles per hour in Baltimore. I thought it was going to be Caleb Smith, but they're going with Lopez. John Means looked terrible in that first start, but that's okay, right? And I mean, it's just his first start against the dangerous ball club. Can we put a line through that? Now, the Marlins have had 13 at-bats versus lefties this year. They're 7 for 13, but who is going to be in this Marlins lineup? We still don't know which 18 players have COVID. They're cobbling this lineup together. Recently promoted players acquired from other clubs. Isan Diaz has left the team, and he let them know via Instagram post.
Oh, Jesus, what is with these guys? Cespedes just disappeared, and now this guy Instagram posts. Like, these guys don't have their manager's phone number?
But also, Diaz here, you're a young guy on the team. You want to ingratiate yourself into this team, and it's just shocking that he would do that. The way he did it. Let me just leave it at that. Orioles are hammering lefties early in the season, 282, 895. Oh, sorry, it's not a lefty. Sorry, it's Paco Lopez. So I thought it was Caleb Smith. Do we make a bet on the Orioles here, or are the Marlins going to be one of those teams that battles with adversity and fights back?
Yeah, this is one of the games where I kind of missed this game when I was capping. But probably because I didn't have a line for it yesterday or early this morning. But minus 1, I would say it's Baltimore or pass. But even though we're playing, what was that line on Baltimore? Get minus 135 against probably a AA lineup.
Yeah,
I
think it's a must bet.
I don't disagree with anyone who takes the Orioles here. I'm actually kind of tempted to it now. I haven't. Not capped this game at all, mind you, but like minus 135 does kind of seem. I mean, Lopez isn't anything special, and I don't know what his lineup's going to be. So I know the lineup's going to have a ton of replacement players on a team that wasn't that good to begin with. If the Orioles are running, the Orioles are a bad team, but they are running hot. They just swept the Rays. I don't know, just on principle alone, if you threw a half unit on it, I wouldn't tell anyone not to. That's
well, I'm going to throw a full unit on it, and I'm also going to take him on the minus 1 line as well. Home team on the minus 1 line for a score. Razor Sharp says I lean towards Miami. Viper MB says don't bet on trash, Jimmy. Man, I wish you were around me for 20 years telling me that, Viper MB, because
I can get a minus 120 right now on a. Ooh, they're -1 lines, plus 111 on the illegal book that I use.
Joseph Gomez says don't get too greedy, Jimmy. Look, there's a couple things happening here. If the Marlins can handle adversity like this, more power to them. But this isn't like the Winnipeg Jets having two of their best players, because I count Blake Wheeler as one of them, getting hurt in the game, and they possibly, depending on how you view a dangerous hit from Kachuk, and them coming together and beating those assholes. These Marlins couldn't give a fuck about the Orioles. They don't care. Do they care? What do they care about? The question of how much teams care is up in the air right now.
And it is hard. I'll tell you how much I think they care, because we all saw that, or maybe a lot of us saw that video where Derek Jeter was talking about, well, that we had an outbreak, but, they weren't carousing around. They were having dinner with their Nana in Atlanta, and a couple of the guys, went down to the hotel bar for a couple of drinks. I admit they didn't fully, they were kind of careless in some of their actions, but all that news about them carousing around is absolutely wrong. That's such bullshit. We all know it's Atlanta. These guys are 23 years old. They got a lot of money. They were in the titty club. We all know that. Atlanta is famous for them. Shut up, Derek. They were not having dinner with their Nana. Come on. What the F was that crap about? Oh, they went to dinner with a couple of friends. Bullshit. They were making it rain, getting chicken nuggets and titties. Give me a break.
I'm in.
These guys, it's like they didn't take it seriously, okay, is my point. They didn't take it seriously. They had their heads up their ass, and you expect me to have obviously the Orioles must care because they swept the Rays. I mean, the Orioles have come out and have been playing pretty good. So, I mean, you're going to give me an organization where the guys didn't care enough about COVID that they all went out to the freaking titty bar and gave the entire team the disease, versus a team that's been taking it seriously and has had a chip on their shoulder, obviously, because, they suck. Everyone says they suck. And now they go out there and, they're like a 500 team right now. So, I mean, yeah, looking at that number, I would probably take the Orioles here.
You're right. -125 plus 111. It's not a big enough difference for me to take the home team there. So I'm not going to take them on the -1. I'll just take the Orioles to win this ball game. Again, it will be official when I bet it and when I put it out on Twitter. So, but I'm going to go do that. And there's not enough risk reward for me to bother with the -1. I don't think. But I am making a move on the Orioles. Okay, let's keep rolling along. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And Noko says John Mean sucks. Still Orioles -135. It's -125. -125. Adam Ray going to be back in action with us in a second. Razor Sharp says Orioles open up -145. Public's hammering them because they just had a good series. Live line is now Orioles -120. There's Eric Swiatek in the house. We've missed you, Eric. Great to see you. Okay, let's keep rolling. There's Noli Knows in the house. You can see Noli Knows every Thursday right here on Betting with the Bag. Folks on your bet says I'd rather have Miami better bats. Who's going to be in the lineup?
Better bats. Over half the team got COVID. I mean, aren't these double-A? These are guys out of that 60-player pool.
White Sox, Brew Crew. This was a game, I think, from your video yesterday. Is that right?
Yes, and I don't understand the market move. I think the market is stupid, so I'm going to bet the game again.
Okay, well, why don't you take it away, Giolito or Woodruff? Why don't you lead us into this, because you broke this game down on your show last night.
Yep. So you guys, you probably already know, I love Woodruff. I think he's an elite level potential starting pitcher, but I also like Giolito. I think Giolito is also probably elite level. You look at his first start, throw that first start of Giolito out. He came back. He looked pretty good in his second start. And I'm looking at it like this. To me, the starting pitchers are a wash. I mean, we could talk about how we like both starting pitchers all day. I think they're both good. The bullpens, though, I like the White Sox bullpen right now. They got a 316 bullpen FIP, where the Brewers bullpen FIP is 533. So the Brewers bullpen has been worse this year. I know there's been a lot of talk about how the Brewers bullpen has been pretty good the last couple of years. Not really this year. They've lost a lot of those guys. And we're looking at these lineups. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This lineup is Christian Yelich and a bunch of trash cans, especially now that Lorenzo Cain opted out of the season. And Yelich is, a MVP caliber player who's like 3 for 31 starting the year. He's been absolutely cold. So their only hitter who's worth the flying crap is in a massive funk. The White Sox offense is top 3 in the league right now. The White Sox are raking. And so to me, it's when you got a wash on starting pitchers, but then a much better offense and a better bullpen with the White Sox, give me the White Sox money line. I bet it yesterday at even money because I thought the White Sox were going to get steamed. But for some reason, people are stupid are betting the Brewers here. So I'm going to take the White Sox again. I'm looking at plus 122. I'm going to bet them again. Screw you. I'm betting them again at plus 122. And I also have another bet on this game. First 5 under 4.5. I do love Woodruff. I think he can keep the White Sox to 2 runs here in the first 5 innings. I think he's very capable of doing that. But I also do not see that cold-ass Brewers lineup really getting much off of Giolito if Giolito's on here. I love the first 5 under 4.5 in this game as well.
I love it. I love it too. And Woodruff is just a different pitcher this year. So he was studying Scherzer, studying how Scherzer drops his changeup, and now last out in his most recent outing, 8 of his 20 swings and misses came from his changeup. I agree with you. Woodruff is becoming an elite starting pitcher, and I think that under 4.5 is a nice spot. I'm going to make a move on it as well. Under first 5, under 4.5. Okay, let's keep rolling. Those of you who are joining us now, we're doing MLB. We're almost through MLB. We're 3/4 way through, and then we go into NBA and then NHL. Let's move over to Royals. Cubs, 68 Fahrenheit, clear, 11 miles per hour in is the weather at Wrigley. We have Brady Singer, who's looked good in his first 2 starts. We talked about his numbers at High A Wilmington and Double A Northwest Arkansas before because this is his 3rd start, and he was good there. He didn't have electric strikeout stuff, and I'm not expecting him to be a big strikeout pitcher in the show, but 10 Ks in 10 innings. He's looked good. Royals versus righties this year, 216, 647 OPS. Cubs versus righties, 232, 781 OPS, and this is his 24th birthday. He's throwing on his 24th birthday. Then we have Hendricks, a pitcher that Ant likes very much and that is consistently undervalued, and he's coming off a terrible start after a bad start after a brilliant start.
Sometimes shit happens,
Yeah, no, I get it.
Hendricks alone.
I get it. He's a good pitcher. There's no doubt about it. Cubs open up at minus 200. They're still there at Bet365. They're lower than that on most of the other books, and this total has gone from 8 to 7.5. Royals, Cubbies, and take it away.
I don't really have a lot on this game, mainly because there's not much to say about Singer. He's never pitched above Double A before this season, and he's had 2 starts where he's looked good, but it's such a small sample size, so we don't know if it's – a lot of guys look good in their first couple starts, and then they wind up sucking, and a lot of guys wind up being really good. I don't really know much about the guy. I actually live in Omaha, which is the AAA affiliate city for the Kansas City Royals. So I usually have a lot of info on these Royals players because I see them coming up through the minors. But he skipped Omaha. He went from AA right to the majors. So I've never even seen him in person, which is kind of rare for me. Normally I see all the Royals guys coming up. So to me, he's just an enigma. And we all know what we're going to get out of Hendricks. The Royals offense is pretty below average. Going into the year right now, they have 87 WRC plus. That's pretty bad. I mean, well, not horrendous, but it's definitely below average. You got the Cubs, 116 WRC plus. The one issue that I'm looking at is the Royals bullpen has pitched 53 in the third innings. That's tied for the most of any team in baseball. So if Singer can't go, I mean, if they keep Singer at like 5 innings, the Royals bullpen is going to wind up, seeing a lot of innings here, and their bullpen's kind of shitty. So, and then the Cubs bullpen, like a lot of people like make a lot of excuses. The Cubs do have the worst bullpen ERA and the worst bullpen FIP in the league, but at the same time, when Craig Kimbrell goes out there and gives up 4 runs in a third of an inning, that'll do that to your entire bullpen FIP. So the Cubs bullpens actually look pretty good for a couple of games now. The jury's still out on just how good their bullpen is. But I'm just looking at this game where I just got to put a line through it at about minus 185 is what I'm looking at market consensus for the Cubs here. That kind of seems about accurate. They got a starting pitcher where you know what you're getting from him. They got a better lineup. And, despite the fact that their bullpen numbers are worse than the Royals' bullpen numbers, I don't really trust the Royals' bullpen either. It's just a pass for me at that price. The number's not high enough for me to take a stab on the Royals here, but I'm not looking to lay minus 185 here either, especially because who knows, the Singer kid could go out there and he could be the real deal and pitch 6 innings of great ball. I don't know.
Interesting. This first 5 total is actually, I guess, the wind 11 miles in. I'm just going to leave it alone. Let's move on to the next spot. It's Giants, Rockies, Gausman, Marquez. We expect it to be Gausman. You never know with old Gabe Kapler and his tricks what he's going to be up to.
I'm sick of that guy.
Rockies open up at minus 180. They're now still at minus 180, but that at Bet365, but it's much lower. Not much lower, but between 12 and 10 cents lower at other books. This total opened up at 12, sneaked up to 12.5, now 11.5 and 11s. 81 Fahrenheit clear, 7 miles per hour in. And Gausman, 2 games, 1 start, 8 1/3, 5 earned runs, 12 hits, 10 Ks. We saw last year when he went from Atlanta as a starter, it was awful. Moved over to the Reds bullpen and was much, much better in the bullpen as a bullpen piece. 1-0 Florida after 1. Great job, Mr. Gokster, on the Panthers first period. Herman Marquez is elite pitcher, and he looked very good, very, very good in his 2 starts so far. But he's always had problems with the Giants. 6.60 ERA, 32 earned runs and 43 2/3. And the Giants are playing pretty well. 265, 752 OPS. Marquez, an 11 2/3, 14 Ks, 4 walks, 2 earned runs. He looks very good. Giants, Rockies, and you making a move?
Yeah, I have 2 plays on this game. I absolutely love this spot here for the Rockies. Everything you said about Marquez is accurate. The fact is the guy doesn't care about Coors Field. So many pitchers just shit the bed when they start pitching in Coors Field, and he just doesn't care. He just goes out there and pitches. He has a 4.26 career ERA, 3.91 career FIP, and 3.78 career SIERA. Now, I know those numbers only look on the surface as a bit above average. They're not. They're better than average, but they're not like elite numbers. Until you figure out that this half of those starts are in the worst pitcher's park in the history of the game. Coors Field eats up pitchers like crazy, and this guy is still able to post career numbers above average. He is something special. Another great look at him too is his walks. He walks 4% of batters over the last 2 years. He's keeping runners off base in Coors Field. So if he gives up a dinger, it's a solo shot because he's not really walking guys. He's not giving up a lot of hits. I could talk about Marquez all day, but I'm not. On the other side, Gausman is the epitome of average. He's got career numbers, 4.31 ERA, 4.10 FIP, 4.03 SIERA. All those numbers are worse than Marquez's career numbers, and Gausman doesn't have the excuse of pitching half his game in Coors Field. He's the epitome of an average pitcher. The Giants, don't let the Giants offensive start fool you. They're not a good lineup. They're very poor lineup. The lineups for the Rockies is substantially better than the lineup for the Giants here. And the bullpen, the Rockies still have a pretty above average bullpen. The Giants, honestly, the Giants suck. Okay, they got a little bit hot at the beginning of the year, but the Giants suck. I love this spot. I have the Rockies first 5 money line at it's juicy, but I took the Rockies -1 at -132. If you guys want to bet the money line on the first 5, you can, but I'm not going to give that out as official play on this show because it's pretty juicy. But I do have Rockies. I got Rockies first 5 full game. Long story short, I took a -1, -132 full game.
I think it all makes a ton of sense. -140 for -0.5. I bet 365.
I told you it was juicy.
If I do the -1, it's on the full game, it's -143. I wonder if I wanted to. I probably won't, but if I wanted to, yeah, I'm not going to do the -1 on the first 5. It makes a ton of sense. I'm gonna ride with that. What's happened watching you succeed in MLB over the last few years, year after year, is that the idea I have with NHL about never taking a -135 or higher, I'm going to let go of in MLB because I've seen you do that with great success. Ron Crawford, spreadsheet play of the day is Colorado, -161. Ron Crawford's spreadsheet plays are now 7-1-1. Okay, I'm in. I'm going to first 5 this and full game this, -0.5 and -1. All right, let's keep rolling. Next up, we have Astros, Diamondbacks. We didn't know Framber Valdez was supposed to start, but he pitched. The Astros have been playing extra inning games after extra inning games. So Valdez had to pitch 6 1/3 of relief in that 11-inning 6-5 win over the Angels on Sunday. So it's Christian Javier who looked very good.
Boy, did he.
Very good. Wow, in his first start. This kid is a stud. And we talk about the numbers that Singer has for Kansas City. But what I like to see is what Christian Javier had in Fayetteville, Corpus Christi, and Round Rock. He went single A, double A, triple A. Now, I understand when nobody knows that there's more talent in double A. Sometimes the triple A teams or your journeyman 24-year-olds that aren't going to make the show. But he had 170 strikeouts in 113 2/3. He was he's going to be a stud. Let's see what the market move here is in this Astros game. Astros open up at -135. They're still there. This total sitting at under 9.5. Still there. Going against Bumgarner. Astros are not hitting lefties to start the year. 244, 688 OPS. And you can point the finger at Springer and Altuve, who are both hitting under 200 overall. The Diamondbacks aren't hitting righties. 188, 551 OPS.
Hitting the ball's a lot harder when you don't know what's coming. So
there's a ton of truth to that. And now we're sitting here looking at this 9.5. I mean, the Diamondbacks have hit 2 home runs this year. They're batting 192 as a team. Is this a spot where we look under? How are you handling Astros Diamondbacks?
I actually have 2 plays on this game. Both of them are first 5. I talked about this game on my show last night where I gave out a couple numbers I was going to target if we can get them for first 5s, and we got both of them. So first of all, we got Mad Bum on the hill, and a lot of people – they seem to forget that this guy's still a really good starting pitcher. Like I mentioned last time I was on the show, because I think last time I was on your show was another Mad Bum start. And he had the worst season of his career. It was still like a 3.90 ERA, 3.90 FIP. I mean, still above average. Through a couple starts this year, 4.40 ERA, 4.09 ERA, 3.95 FIP. He's still pretty decent starting pitcher here. On the other hand, oh my God, they've had one of the worst offenses in the league, the Diamondbacks, and that is concerning. That I think their WRC plus is like 59, something like that. It's really, really bad. but they do have pieces in that lineup that could give you some pops. So if they show up, I mean, they can still get some runs. I mean, they have the names that tell you they can get some runs. They're just not producing. On the other hand, we're right. Javier looked like a stud. I got 2 plays on this. I don't see how we're getting over 5 runs in this first 5. They totaled it at 5, and I'm assuming that's just because of the expected offensive ability of the Astros, plus the D-backs on paper have a good offense. They haven't performed worth a crap this year, but on paper, those guys are still capable of putting up some numbers. Maybe that's why you have a first 5 of 5. Maybe the books don't trust Javier. Maybe the books think maybe perception is that Mad Bum sucks now. I don't know, but I don't see this game going over 5 runs in the first 5 innings. So I'm on the first 5 under 5 at -110, and I'm also taking that plus money with Bumgarner here. He's capable of shutting down this Houston Astros lineup. I don't see the Astros. They haven't been that good this year, so I'm going to take that plus money on them. I don't know what I'm going to get out of Javier. He could be really good. He come out and be lights out, or he could walk, 5 guys, and we might be able to get some runs that way from the from the D-backs. I think there's a lot of volatility on the money line in this game. I think it could go either way. That's why I'm taking that plus money going into volatility here. So I got the Diamondbacks first 5 money line at plus 120. And the great thing about first 5 money lines is you can always push it. So if it's 2-2 after 5 innings, no harm, no foul. But if it's 2-2 after 5 innings, we win that first 5 under 5. So first 5 under 5 at -110. Diamondbacks first 5 plus 120.
I like it both. You won't believe this. This total's going up. It's now 5.5.
5.5?
5.5.
Again. Holy crap.
-115 right now. I'm all over that first 5 under 5.5. I think it makes a ton of sense. And I like your look. I like your look
again. 5.5. I'm betting that again. Holy crap.
I like your look. We got our Lou Chase Fox in the house. Great to see you. Says Pirates suck everything.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Connor McLaughlin says
really bad.
Fade Bumgardner says bats come alive in Arizona for the Stros. I like that 5.5 under. I'm in. I'm just going to stick with that. I think you getting a dog price here against a tired Astros team is a look I support as well. Okay, let's keep rolling here. 2 games left. 3 games left on the card. Okay, let's keep moving quickly here. Next up, we have Rangers Athletics. Lynn versus Jesus Luzardo. We finally get to see Jesus Luzardo. He was actually going to be their opening day starter, which I didn't realize. But, man, look, we know what happens when you play in Vegas. If you have an ERA under 5, you're a stud. Now, he only started 7 games in Vegas, but he had a 3.19 ERA and a 1.19 whip. This kid could be nasty. He hasn't started any games, come out of the bullpen because he had COVID. 6 2/3, 1 earned run, 5 hits, 7 Ks. Now he's going up against Lance Lynn, he's one of the few guys who's made me a lot of money in the last little while. Lance Lynn, 12 innings, 0 earned runs. He's walking batters, but he's only allowed 3 hits, 6 walks, 17 Ks. These Rangers are not the Rangers of old. They can't hit. Against lefties, 202, 714 OPS. Lynn always had a tough time with the A's. Last year, a tough time again, 5.66 ERA in 4 starts. But Luzardo, the top prospect in the A's system, 22 years old. His nickname is the Lizard King. He went to Stoneman Douglas in Parkland and graduated 2 years before the mass shooting. 3rd-round draft pick in 2016 by the Nationals, and now he's sitting here on the A's. Let's take a look at the market move, Texas, Oakland. Wow, that first 5 is at 3.5 now from the 4. Geez, that's wild. 3.5.
I love it.
And the total opened at 8.5. At Bet365 now 7.5. Take it away, and Rangers, A's.
What did that tell me about that total again? That's just music to my ears.
The first 5 is at 3.5.
Yeah, so I gave this game out yesterday on my show. It was 8.5, and I told everyone take the under 8.5. This line is moving down, down, down. Hour and a half after the show was already 8. Now this morning it's 7.5. I love it. I love it. I love it. Killing a line move of 1 run on a total. That's awesome. I love it. So I can't give out the total anymore because I took an 8.5 yesterday. But I can give you out another play because I do like this. Lance Lynn is really freaking good. Like I said, everyone seems to forget that Lance Lynn has been an exceptional pitcher for years. Probably because he looks like a Midwestern dad taking his children to a lake day in a Dodge Caravan. I don't know. Yeah. But so far this year, 0 earned runs in 12 innings, 37.8% K rate. His hard contact is 27.3%. People are not barreling the ball against him. He's striking guys out. He's just been absolutely lights out. Everything you said about Luzardo is accurate. And Luzardo's getting backed up by a really good bullpen as well. And the Rangers have not been hitting. The Rangers have one of the worst offenses in the league. That's why I really like that under 8.5. And that's why apparently everyone liked that under 8.5 is now 7.5. But you're giving me Lance Lynn at plus 132 on a first 5 against a guy making his major league debut. I mean, honestly, I think 1 run from the Rangers could get us there. So I have my second play on this game is the Rangers' first 5 money line at plus 132. I absolutely love this play. It could be 1-1 after 5 innings, and, we push. But, I mean, you're giving me Lance Lynn plus money on first 5 against an unknown quantity. Yes, we know Luzardo is their top prospect, but he's never pitched a game in the major leagues. That makes him an unknown quantity. All right? You can tell me what he did against those AA guys, and I know he's going to be good, but it's still his first game starting against major league bats. He could shut him down. He could blow him up. But I'm taking plus money with Lance Lynn, who is an elite starting pitcher.
I mean, what do you say to that? I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, Luzardo looks nasty.
Oh yeah,
but you're going to get this plus line on just a great start. So you put a line through his numbers against the A's.
Yeah, I don't really do that. I just don't really care about a pitcher versus a team stats because lineups, there's turnover in lineups. I mean, how he pitched against this team 3 years ago or last year. I mean, it doesn't really matter if like 4 of the guys in that lineup are different,
Yeah, let's just take a quick look at batter versus pitcher here very, very, very quickly here. Who has hit him? Mark Kanya, but with no power, 4 for 8, but no power. Has anyone hit him hard? No one's hit him hard. Chapman is 125, batting 125, but 1 homer, and it was solo shot. Marcus Semien hits him hard, 6 for 12 with a homer and 3 ribbies. And these guys, it's just rinky-dink hits against him from Matt Olson and Piscotty. I think your move makes a ton of sense. Let's see what Luce's Fox says. He says, Rangers are on the upswing for sure, and Lynn looked awesome in his first start. I hate the Rangers, but I like the play.
Yeah, it's just, you're getting plus money on a first 5 with Lance Lynn, who's been completely lights out for ever since he's gone with the Rangers.
I agree completely. This was not part of my planned action, but I completely agree. You have to take this spot here on first 5. All right, I'm in. I'm going to take Rangers first 5. Derek Z says Lynn getting disrespected. You got Monster Southpaw throwing 97. Damn Luzardo, but who knows what he's going to do? It just makes a ton of sense. All right, let's move on to Dodgers Padres. Dustin May versus Dinelson Lamet. Lamet's now become Paddock is very good, but it sort of feels like Lamet could be the ace of this staff. But the Dodgers get to him. They just get to him. Let's see what we're talking full game market moves here, spreads and totals. We have 2 games left. We're gonna move into NBA and then NHL. And let's see what we're talking about here. May opening up at minus 140 the Dodgers opening up at minus 140. They're now minus 130. So the 8.5 over under is now 8. 71 Fahrenheit clear, 7 miles per hour out to right field. Dustin May started 2 games. He's only gone 7 2/3. He's allowed 10 hits. A lot of them were the 7 rinky-dink hits in that opening game against the Giants. 3.63 ERA, 1.10 whip, and 34 2/3 last year. Then Lamet, 15 Ks in 10 innings, but 9 hits, 5 walks, only 2 earned runs, so they're not getting hard contact against them. Both these teams hit righties hard. Padres 256, 846 OPS this year. Dodgers 260, 809 OPS this year. And you're higher on May than I am. Brandon Lugo says Dodgers and the over. Derek C said Lamet is too wild and the Dodgers are patient. William McKinnon says, is Betts in the lineup? We don't have a confirmed lineup, but the expected lineup here has Betts hitting second. Ant L, our man, our MLB expert. Dodgers, Padres, take it away.
You should be higher on May because he's elite. One thing, you touched on it there very briefly, Lamet's walks. That is very troublesome to me, is if a guy's giving up 5 walks in 10 innings, especially if you're going to go up against a lineup like the Dodgers, who on paper is the best lineup in baseball. And they crush righties. They have a lot of left-handed bats. May's walk percentage is 4%. That's extremely low. So if May keeps his walks down and Lamet starts walking guys like we know he can, that could be some trouble. We're also looking at, I think there's a lot of regression coming in that Padres lineup. We call it sequencing luck, where they have a very high batting average right now with runners in scoring position. And a lot of that comes back. You know, it'll come back to the average. Right now, they're way outperforming league averages when they have runners in scoring position, and those numbers tend to balance out and come back towards the average. So I'm looking at basically that's kind of a fancy way of saying that the Padres have been good this year at stringing their hits together instead of spreading them out. So if their sequencing luck turns around here, I definitely see the Dodgers. I don't have a play on this game, but I'm leaning heavily towards the Dodgers here. Lamet does look like he's going to be good. He has a high K rate. He's got great stuff. But you factor in the fact that I also love May. I think the Dodgers long-term have a better offense than the Padres, although the Padres offense has been pretty hot, but I think they are in line for some regression here. I haven't bet it, but it's either Dodgers or pass for me. I'm looking at minus 125 for the Dodgers. If somehow you can give me minus 120, minus 115, I'd have to take a stab on the Dodgers because that's just too cheap a price to pass on them. Because I think from front to back, starting pitching, relieving, bullpen lineup, the Dodgers are the best team in baseball. So if you can give me a little bit better price here on the Dodgers, I'll pull the trigger. Right now, I'm definitely not taking the Padres at this number against the best team in baseball. So that's kind of my breakdown of the game.
You're right. In May be look 32 Ks, 5 walks. I'm certainly being hard on him.
A little bit. Is it the hair? I understand that hair is atrocious, but
it's like Carrot Top out there,
right? It's like Carrot Top without the steroids.
Yeah, without the steroids. So, what do you think about? I see Dustin May. Maybe they're I just feel like they're worried about lineup seeing him a third time, and he's not being able to go deep through games, even though he walks nobody. I feel like what our man Paco Healy, who is a Padres expert, is on might be a really nice look. What do you think about taking the over and fading the line movement?
I could definitely. You got a hot offense on one side and the best lineup in the league on the other side. So, I can't blame you one for one to take that over.
And Lamet, these guys just hit him. They hit him and they wait and they're patient against them. I'm not
convinced Lamet's a stud yet. He does have good stuff. I have seen this stuff, but a lot of pitchers have good stuff. But, I'm like a lot of people. I like to see pitchers who throw 97, 98 and get high Ks. That gets me excited. But until they have control, big league hitters can hit 97. And that's why Lamet, even though he has great stuff, his ERA is still over 4, because that walk, like those walks tell you everything. He's not good at locating that. He's right now. I see him as a guy with good stuff who will K a lot of guys, but he's more of a thrower than a pitcher, and he's just relying on his velocity and relying on his raw talent. And until he can get those walks under control and get more control, he's not going to be the superstar we think he's going to be. But I definitely think he has the potential to be a superstar.
I'm in. Paco Healy talked to me, and I'm gonna tail the over 8 here. I'm gonna tail the over 8. All right, then we have the final game on the card. Such a treat being able to break these games down with our Aunt L at Aunt L Sports. Follow him on Twitter. I'll pop this Twitter handle into the chat. Angels Mariners 76 Fahrenheit clear, 7 miles per hour in Heaney versus Dunn. We talked about Dunn. In 2019, he started 4 bullpen days and was walking way too many batters. That wasn't a problem for him at AA Arkansas, but this is the show. So we'll see if that's something that continues. He's a first-round pick in 2016 from the New York Mets. Started 1 game and didn't look very good. 3 innings, 2 earned runs, 1 hit, 2 Ks, 3 walks. Going up against Heaney, who I don't know what to make. Heaney's such a question mark for me. I never know what to make of him. The Angels open up at minus 180. They're now at minus 210, a 30-cent move towards them. The Mariners have played well, and I'm still going to cash this under season total so easily. Trout is going to be back. So he gave his wife. Yeah, he's going to be back tonight. They gave him an extra day, but Trout's going to be back tonight. His wife gave birth to their first child. Joe Adell, the franchise's highest-rated prospect since Trout, is going to be called up for the series. And then Ohtani has a grade 1-2 strain of the flexor pronator mass and forearm muscle. So he's still going to be DHing. It's hard to believe that the forearm's not going to hurt him, but I guess it doesn't bother him DHing. But he's not being good this year, 148 with 2 homers. And the Mariners are coming back. They're starting to lose games. Final game on the card, and you have a move for Angels Mariners.
I have a lean. The thing with Heaney is he's just average. You look at all his numbers, there's just nothing really to say about the guy. He's a decent starting pitcher. The Mariners is just such a terrible team. I mean, what can we say about that lineup? It's terrible. The Angels have a much better lineup. Trout in the lineup makes a big difference because you're going to have Trout, you're going to have Rendon. Man, the Angels – I'm not high on the Angels this year. I think they're a 500 type team, but they have a above average offense. And let's go back to Dunn. He sucks. All right. All his starts are bullpen games. The Mariners have a terrible bullpen. Their bullpen ERA is 6.65. Their bullpen FIP is 6.78. They have one of the highest usage rates of their bullpen in the league right now. And I think a lot of that is because they do a lot of bullpen games and they have a terrible bullpen. So it's like these guys are getting worn out. They're not that good to begin with. I mean, this is a game where it's like, and I hate to say this because, the last time we did this show, it was a Mariners versus Angels game, and I gave out the Angels at minus 200 and it lost. So I was kind of upset about that. But I haven't bet this game, but I have a strong lean toward the Angels. If someone wanted to take the Angels in one of those classic, where everyone wants to take big favorites and money line parlays, the Angels could be a parlay filler here. I think betting the Mariners, even at these big plus numbers, long term is just lighting money on fire because the team is just really, really freaking bad. So this game for me is a pass. But gun to my head, I mean, if you told me I had to make a bet on the game, I'd lay the $2 with the Angels.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to pass as well. But if I had a forced play, I would be on the Angels. I agree. I think it's a great breakdown. All 13 games broken down by our Aunt L. I popped his Twitter feed. Make sure that got in there. Yes, it did. There it is at L Sports. You guys follow this man on Twitter, and you're going to see a lot more of him here on Odds Headquarters. What a spectacular MLB capper. Can you go over your action one more time? And Tony Bruscher was wondering if there was any bets you liked better than the rest.
All right. So I'm on the Diamondbacks first 5 plus 120. The Diamondbacks Astros first 5 under 5 at minus 110. Apparently the market is now at 5.5, so I'm going to bet that again. And I would say that's probably the one I like better than the rest. I do not see a lot of offense going in the beginning of this game, guys. I'm on the Rockies -1 at minus 132. The Rockies first 5 at money line at minus 175. I got a decent amount. Alrighty. I am on the first 5 under 4 at even money in the Indians-Reds game. I am on the Mets money line plus 138. And I'm telling you, White Sox money line right now is at about plus 120 to plus 125. And I'm on the first 5 under in the White Sox Brewers game. First 5 under 4.5 at minus 115. And follow me on Twitter. I will make sure I get all those plays tweeted out.
Beautiful, beautiful. And is there one bet right now at the odds right now that you like the best? Why don't you think on it while I just go over my action? Why don't you think on if there's one for Tony that you like the best? My action is Bieber over 7.5 Ks at plus 100. I'm going right back to that. Well, I doubled up on the Nats first 5 -0.5 and full game -1, which is concerning because it's against Ant, and that's concerning. And I loved it. So I'm very concerned. Nothing for me in Braves, Blue Jays, although Jeff Joseph, loving Shoemaker, and on the, I think just the first 5 under, should I forget? I'm going to make a move on the Orioles, minus 125. If some of the 18 players that have COVID are players I've never heard of, but I don't expect that to be the case, and we'll see if they can handle that adversity. I'm in on this first 5 under 4.5, White Sox Brewers. That was a look from our Aunt L, and I thought it was a great look. I'm also on the Rockies first 5 full game. That's going to be in addition. The only bets I've already made are the 2 Nats bets and the Bieber bet. Rockies first 5 -0.5, full game -1. And then that first 5 under 5.5, Astros Diamondbacks. That's going to be a lot of fun. Rangers first 5, that big plus money I have to take. And I'm going to watch it. Luzardo could be spectacular, or he could be a little nervous. And then over 8, Dodgers, Padres, I'm tailing my man Paco Healy, and that's my action. If there's one, I would say the Nats, but I can't because, I'm not going to, my best play can't be a play that Ant's on the other side. So I'm going to take a second and look at what I like best. And with Brandon Lugo just letting us know Panthers have scored. It's now 2-1. What's your favorite play?
The under 5 in the first 5 in the Diamondbacks-Astros game. I'm looking at it right now. The 5.5 is minus 130 on 5 dimes, and the under 5 is at even money. Getting even money on that under 5, I like that.
Yeah, I get it. And okay, you know what? I guess. Because the Rockies -1, I guess, okay, because Ant is on the Mets, I'll take Rockies -1 as my favorite play. And Brandon Lewis saying Barkov with a snipe. Barkov's dangerous if they only had defense. What a job by our Ant L. All 13 games, MLB games capped and broken down. Thank you, my friend. Follow him on Twitter. I'm going to pop that up one more time here for you guys to follow him on Twitter. We will tweet out all of our plays. And but we're going to move on to NBA and NHL. And thank you so much. Any last words for these great cappers?
Just don't bet bad numbers.
Beautifully put. There he is, Ant L. Can't wait for more. Love working with you. Enjoy the rest of your day, my friend, and we'll be in touch soon.
Thank you.
There he is, Ant L. Yenny Toon says, Jimmy, what do you think of my bets here? Like Islanders money line, Jackets versus Leafs under 5.5, and Hurricanes money line. To be honest with you, I guess we know how the Jackets are going to play the Leafs, so the under 5.5 makes sense there. The Hurricanes money line, I've got futures on the Hurricanes. I'm really excited about them. But what if Shesty comes in? How are these Rangers going to react being down 0-2? So I'm going to cheer for the Canes, but if it's King Henrik in goal, I'm going to hammer the over first period over 1.5. We'll get to that very soon. Braves -1, A's -1, Pacers over 225, and Mavs -5.5. And I think you got a good card, and I hope you get this Islanders money line. I stayed off Islanders Panthers. What did I think about my Nucks the first game? I thought they played tight, and I thought they played very poorly. And I'm on them -1. We're going to get to that. We're going to talk NHL in a second, Mr. Gokster. I was extremely disappointed is what I was. Extremely disappointed. But right now we're going to talk NBA. Let's move on to NBA right now. Coming off a 2-0 day was my last NBA action. And that was on Friday. On Friday when we had the great Trotwam joining us from Westgate Sportsbook. And I had 2 bets, and they both cashed very easily. Magic cashed very easily. And then I went 2-1. Shit, because I had the Grizzlies first quarter. Let me just go over to my overall in NBA. I'm 123 and 109, up 5.57 units. My ROI is plus 2.40%. My average line is -108. And on that Friday, Magic -6.5 cashed easily. DeRozan over 27.5 points and rebounds cashed very easily. And then Grizzlies first quarter plus 115 was a loser. All right, let's get to work right now on NBA, and let's keep it rolling. We're looking good. We're going to start with Nets Bucks. Man, if Milwaukee had only won their last game, I'd be sitting here with a Nets bet of some sort. Darian Santiago says Nets cover. The only problem is that the Bucks lost to the Rockets and aren't playing well. Nick Dillard on first half -11 with the Bucks. The Trotwam is in our chat. He's taking the Bucks early. And DJ Big Boss, respect. Ron Crawford's on Orlando and Portland today. Trotwam says Bucks after a loss is a huge first half casher. I don't trust the numbers from what happened 4 months ago. Trotwam, I don't. And that's why I've been very hesitant with NHL and NBA. And in NHL, my leans are all cashing in. It's weird. It's fine to trust what happened this year. In NBA, it's different. It's just different. It's a different sort of sport. And now that there's no fans, a lot has changed. And Jesse Daly says Nets aren't covering any part of this game. Look, I'm not going to sit here and put my money on the Nets. But I want to. God, I want to. I want to so bad. Milwaukee 16-3 in their past 19 meetings with Brooklyn. We've watched this total move and move and move. Let's go over to it right now. Oh, it's coming back. So the 18.5s are on the board. So got up to 19, and somebody said it was too much. Total goes from 228.5 to 231. I'm not following my pace plan from what happened with fans before COVID. Lute's Fox says Nets are 12.5 first quarter. If I was going to bet, I would go that route. They're not, you mean first half. First quarter, they're still huge, but it's 6.5. Wow, sorry. It's moved to 7.5 first quarter. Oh, my goodness. 7.5 first quarter. How do you not take the Nets first quarter plus 7.5? It's this bet that I've had good success with, over the years. And you guys have seen me have good success with these big dogs first quarter, but I just wish. And Trotwam's right. They are all playing. Bledsoe's back from the COVID-19. Pat Connaughton's back, but Wesley Matthews is not playing. Wesley Matthews is not playing. I don't think that's that big of a deal. But having Bledsoe back, I feel like that slows them down early. And maybe Bledsoe's going to be unbelievable early, but God, Plus 7.5 first quarter. I just wish they weren't coming off of a loss. I just can't pull the trigger on it. But man, I want to. All right, let's keep rolling. Next up, we have Mavericks Kings. Mavericks Kings. The Mavs have opened up by losing 2 games to start this off. The Kings have lost their 2 games. Both teams have not looked good. Mavericks opened up at 5.5. A couple books have moved them to 6. This total opened up at 237. A couple books have taken it to 236.5. And Darian Santiago says, put a unit on it, Jimmy. T. Henderson saying 65% of public on Brooklyn plus 18. And Darian Santiago saying Mavericks win. Nick Dillard's on Mavericks first quarter. I could understand expecting the Mavericks to come out strong, but I expect the Kings to as well. And again, this is another spot where I slow down. Kings have the second easiest schedule, and they lose by 9 to the Spurs and then 16 to Orlando. And that's with De'Aaron Fox playing well. Giles is stepping up, but their defense is pitiful. And they can't defend the perimeter, and they're getting eaten up at the perimeter. And who can eat them up on the perimeter? The Mavericks. Buddy Hield's playing well. But look, the Spurs and Magic are 26th and 23rd in the NBA in three-point shooting, and they could do whatever they wanted out there. Sean Dozier says Mavs, no Curry. Let's take a quick look at that. Here we go very quickly. Get over to the Mavs. So Robin Lopez is starting. And George Hill will start with no Matthews. That's for the Bucks. And Seth Curry ruled out for Tuesday. Good call. Seth Curry ruled out on Tuesday. What works in the NBA is situations. And here you have these first 2 games where the Bucks first half, after losing the night before, if you trust the stats from pre-COVID, they were unbelievable. But I don't know if I trust those stats, but I trust them enough to not want to back the Nets first quarter at plus 7.5. But man, if that line keeps calling up, I just And then Mavericks Kings, both teams are playing poorly. Mavericks have been much tighter, but they lose to Phoenix 117-115. Now they're going to set up for this first round series against the Clippers. It's just Luka and Zingis. Some days Hardaway steps up. Like at Houston, he puts in 24. And then against Phoenix, he puts up 2 points. So, Trowam says Nets in the bubble are 0-2 first half against the spread. And Darian Santiago says, why is LeVert out? I've got no word that LeVert out. What do you mean, Chris? What? Oh, my goodness. Will sit out Tuesday's game versus the Bucks with a thigh contusion. Oh, my gosh. Wow. Okay, thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Oh, my goodness. I didn't know that LeVert was not going to be playing. Unbelievable. Nets aren't playing anybody. They're just letting. Okay. Sorry I spent so much time. Jared Allen's not in either. What a mess. Okay, Trotwam says I've been trying to say that. Okay. All right, so they're just giving this game to – wow. And the Isles scored tied up 2-2. All right. Andrew G says Nets coach says he's playing players he's never met before. Jesus. All right. Sorry, Trowam. Okay, let's move on. I'm staying off of Mavericks Kings. If I had a free play, I would take the Mavs. You know? I mean, if there's a team that can really hurt them from 3 and that want to put up 50 threes a game, it's Dallas. Dallas is better than they've been. The Kings are just a bad basketball team. You know? You get Bagley out of the lineup, and what are they? They're just a bad basketball team. But still, I just don't trust the Mavericks enough. You want the Mavericks when they're a dog against a good team. Chili Dog Dooley on Mavs first half. This might be an in-play spot. DJ Big Boss says Bucks need to let out steam on the Nets. Yeah. All right. Okay, let's move on to Suns Clippers now. Suns Clippers. And the Clips just destroyed the Pelicans on Saturday. My goodness, did they look good. My only future bet I have, and Jared Trader also on Mavs, first half -3.5. Steve Priest saying Sacktown lost by 16 to Orlando. It's Faith over 7.5 for Beverly. My future is on this Clippers team. I expect them to pay me out. Paul George, 8 for 11 from 3. And whenever they play the Suns, Kawhi says, watch this, I'll defend Devin Booker. And he can't do what he does. I mean, last time he was guarded by Leonard predominantly, he went 5 for 19 from the field. Ron Loft says Suns are young, talented, and scrappy. On them once again to cover. I tell you what I don't want is we talk about situational betting and how we've succeeded so much of that. The Clippers lose to the Lakers. They come out and they stomp on the Pelicans. Now they've stomped on the Pelicans and they feel good. And, I don't want them against the Suns. I think a backdoor cover here is right in line for the Suns. The Clippers go 16 for 24 in the first half from 3. They're up 77-45 at intermission. Trotwam says Suns have been tough to bet with or against lately. Man, it's just, if the Clippers were coming off a loss, yeah, it's a smash and grab first half. We have Trotwam in the chat, which is very, very helpful. Nick Dillard, though, taking Clippers first quarter money line. Okay. Let's move on to Magic Pacers. Magic Pacers. Pacers open up as 2-point favorites, and the Magic become favorites. So Brogdon played last night, put up 20.7 rebounds, 6 assists. I can't imagine playing him again. But it seems like they're going to play him. And if you did play Brogdon again, I mean, it's COVID. We're not talking about like a knee injury, but maybe I'm a little maybe I don't need to be so tentative. Oladipo is playing tonight. So let's just go over this Pacers lineup right now. So you got Brogdon back, Aaron Holiday at 2, Oladipo at the 3, Sabonis, as we know, is gone. Warren, you can play him at 3, you can play him at the 4. And then you have Miles Turner at the 5. They figured out a rhythm with Oladipo out of the lineup that I don't know that they have with Oladipo in the lineup. And now Isaac torn ACL hurts the Mavs so well. Fultz and Ross coming off the bench makes them so, so dangerous. And Shaft says Warren has been playing the 4. Yeah, he's been playing the 4, but, you can move TJ around. Walla Walla Dose, love you, buddy. Energy says Magic can put up points, but Indy is sneaky good and always steals money from me. When I look at this spot, it to me is Indiana money line. Do you want to go up against a 35-cent market move? That's what's giving me pause. I don't want to go up against a 35-cent market move. And why has there been a 35-cent market move to the Magic? Trot Wham saying TJ Warren is where I would put my money on. He's been on a mission. I just thought that Robin was just starting, but word says Brook Lopez is completely out. Darian Santiago says hammer the over on Vucevic. Brandon Lugo says Warren will put up shots at will. Great for a prop player. And the Isle score. Attaboy. Yenny Tune. You got Moss Islanders -1.5 live. I love it. People on the Panthers, it's a now, you know, the Islanders look so bad leading up before COVID, but they have a defense. Even with Boychuk hurt, they have a defense. Something the Panthers just don't have. Okay, so I need to understand why there's been a 35-cent. Why do you think there's been a 35-cent move on the Magic? Because of how well they played? Because a big piece of that crumpled down onto the floor. And if I'm going to get a plus line on the Pacers, I want to take it. I want to take it. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to revisit this right before we put a bow on all this. Shaft says Vucevic's going to eat rebounds. Miles Turner is allergic to rebounds. Steve Priest says because Pacers are on a back-to-back. I mean, if you go to the stats here for how long everybody played, and you got Oladipo coming back into the lineup. Let's go over to that game. Let's go over exact time that everybody played here in last night's game where Brogdon looked very good. All right, here we go. Wow, Warren played 40. Brogdon played 35. I thought he was supposed to be on the minutes restriction. Yeah. There's Nate Dogg, 420 now. It's great to see you, Nate Dogg. Okay, let's go to a game that I have action on. Celtics Heat. The Heat stats on the second half of back-to-backs have been terrible all season long. And I understand that public is all over the Celtics and the market has moved a half point towards the Heat. But I see a Heat team where Goran Dragic and his wonky knee puts up 25 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. So I'll tell you the first thing that I did on this game. Kendrick Nunn has been terrible, and he's got to play because Spoelstra does not want to play Dragic a ton of minutes on the second half of back-to-back. So I took Kendrick Nunn over 1.5 3-pointers. He went 0 for 5 from 3 yesterday. I think he's going to jack him up today. He's been very bad, 16 minutes and 20 minutes. If Kendrick Nunn doesn't step up in this game, he's not going to have minutes come when the games matter. And Kendrick Nunn is hard, and I expect him to step up. Do I expect him to score over 11.5 points? You got Moss says, how many minutes do you think Kendrick getting? I think Kendrick Nunn is going to get minutes because you can't play Dragic. Let's go over what Dragic played yesterday. I mean, what if we get close to game time? What if we get close to game time and they don't even play Dragic? Dragic played 28 minutes. What if we get close to game time and they give Dragic the night off? I've had a ton of success backing players on player props after they go over. And so that's my first move. If Kendrick Nunn, doesn't come in, and if Nunn doesn't play well, then he's not playing. So I did take the Celtics -3.5, and let's go over this record. They're 5-6 on the second half of back-to-backs. They're 37-19 with 1 day to recover. This wasn't a team. If you have a vividness of the Heat being a great basketball team, it was because of the first half of the year. In 2020, they're 18-16. They're not hitting threes. They're not defending the three-point line. So I'm on the Celtics. And I know that the Sharps are on the Heat, but not me. So I'm on the Celtics minus 3.5, minus 115. Look, I could have got 3 right now. That makes me angry. But Tatum is unbelievable right now. 8 assists against Portland and puts up 34. I know that they're not playing Kemba much, but I don't think I'm going to need too long. All right, so let's keep rolling. Next up, Rockets, Blazers. So those are my first 2 looks. I'm on none over 1.5 threes, and I'm on the Celtics minus 3.5. Rockets, Blazers is next up. Let's take a quick look at Rockets, Blazers. Rockets open up at minus 5. They're now down to 3.5. Bet365 is kept them at 4. This total opened up at 244, and it's sneaking up very slowly, 244.5 and 245. Rockets coming off their second straight win, 121-16. There was questions about Nurkic props because Nurkic just looks so good. The problem is when teams go big against the Rockets are playing really well, and they play their best against big teams. James Harden, for whatever reason, he slows down against Portland, and I don't know why that is exactly. Other than maybe he tries defending Lillard. I don't know. But it's going to be really fun watching the guard play. And when these two teams match up in guard play, it's the most physical of the guards that steps up, and that's Westbrook. Because these other guards, they're just not physical. And Westbrook starts running at CJ or Dame every chance he gets. He gets physical with them and delivers the goods. Darian Santiago says Blazers W. In fact, when I watch Westbrook's game plan, and it is simply to tire out whoever Dame or CJ is guarding him, it succeeds. And I'm going to go right now to his player props. Let's see what I'm getting. Russell Westbrook, 30.5. Okay, well, I'm not going to say here I'll take 30.5. Brandon Lugo says Lillard and CJ aren't interested in slowing him down. You're right. Gate Pass Key in the house. Great to see you. Trot Wham says I like the Blazers here. Connor McLaughlin says like Blazers, healthy, playing hard, like them getting 4. All right. I'm taking NBA quite slow. I only have 2 moves on today's card, and they're both in one game. Celtics minus 3.5, minus 115. Kendrick Nunn over 1.5 threes. MMA Locker Room says take Lillard points. Lillard's at 28.5. I've never taken points so high, but I get it. Nurkic is up to 19.5, so that's gone all the way up. Tim Montana says, give me Dame time. All right, let's move on to NHL. Only 2 looks for me. Only 2 looks for me. All right, let's move on to NHL. In NHL, I do have moves. Again, we talked about it. This has been a tougher year for me, and I'm not used to it. I did make 2.9 units on the Pens game last night with the Canadians under 1.5 at plus 190 and the Pens minus 1. So right now I'm sitting at 109 and 128. That's just 46%, but my average line is plus 120. So I'm minus 2.5, minus 2.50 units, and my ROI is minus 1.05%. Okay, let's go. Oh, and Viper leaning on the under 244.5. Interesting. Slats is on the under 5.5 at -120 in the Jackets Leafs. I get it. There's the king in the house. Yeah, Mr. Ghost is saying Pettersson having a tough time finding ice. Yes, he is. But, okay. Well, let's start rolling through here. We're going to start with the Predators, Coyotes. I stared at that over 5. I stared at it for a long time. I think Arizona was lucky to win that first game. And I'm not saying they can't win the next game. But I was saying all through the season that they're going to be an easy team to play against when you play them every second night. And I know that the Predators' defense is no longer tough, but their forwards are big. They're bigger than the Coyotes, and they're going to wear them down. So Kemper looked good. Kemper's the start, but I have a sneaking suspicion that, and Jordy Nordman loving Columbus again tonight, I think it's a great look. We're going to get there soon. I have a sneaking suspicion that Pekka Rinne will start and play well, just like Braden Holtby did with the Capitals. I thought that in the East and the West, there were two teams who could possibly get hot and roll. The Hurricanes in the East and the Predators in the West. I still feel that way. Brandon Lugo's on the Predators team, total over 2.5, full game over 5. The 2.5 for me was too juiced. Mr. Go says Rinne starts, but I don't think he plays well. We shall see. But I think my two spots in NHL are really nice. They're big plus lines, and I'm confident that one's going to come in. There's Lamont Williams in the house. Great to see you, Lamont. I'm on the Predators -1 at +123. Ron Lofton says Yotes got healthy during the COVID break. Look, their defense is very good now that it's healthy. But their forwards are too easy to play against. They're too easy. And we saw Braden Holtby do this exact same thing. Not get that first game start. Come in game 2 and take the Capitals to the Stanley Cup. I'm on the Predators -1 at +123. Its face says, what are they? I'm on the Predators -1 at +123 and the Canucks -1 at +207. But we'll get to that. Let's go to Jackets, Maple Leafs right now. And when I'm like you guys, I see the 5.5 and I'm like, man, look at them still hanging that 5.5. Look at them still hanging that 5.5. But I haven't pulled the trigger. Nate Dogg is on Arizona. Reese is on the Jackets money line. Toronto opening up at -145. That's where I think Toronto should be. The Jackets didn't only shut down the Leafs, but they shot them 35-28. Korpisalo looked very good. Connor McLaughlin's on Jackets money line and under 5.5 again. I get it. And Mr. Goat says Preds penalty kill is awful. I think that totals -150 by game time. Nate Dogg says I like Arizona's speed. I get it. But you play a team every second night. And you can wear them down. And that's what the Jackets are likely going to do to the Maple Leafs. Coactus says Leafs like to play golf this time of year. Blue Jackets, Leafs. I'm not going to pull the trigger, and maybe I will later, but surely it's Jackets or pass and under a pass. No, Paco Healy, good question. I haven't seen Nasty Nate. I'll send him a message. Thank you for sending that. It's Jackets or pass and under a pass, and I was surprised to not see the 5 on the board. Yeah, Gate Pass Key says they're nice. Wow. Brooklyn up 17-16. Oh, God. All right. All right, let's move on to Flames Jets. If I could trust the Flames at all, I would take the -1. But I simply can't. And I haven't been able to for years now. I haven't been able to in big games. I haven't been able to trust them. Now you have a team in the Jets that's woefully less skilled, and yet I can't bet on the Flames. This is a perfect time to bet on the Flames. Perfect. Reese says Jets are nothing. As of now, it's nothing. Wow, Prince of the City took Giannis over 2 threes at plus 160. Oh, nice job. Look at that plus 160. Look, I just, this Flames team just consistently disappoints. Dennis Garcia says Calgary wins series 3-1. I agree. Dennis Garcia says Winnipeg got their win. I agree. If it was any other team, I'd be on the Flames -1. There's something that I just don't trust. I just don't trust. I hear you, Dennis. This is the perfect time to fade the Jets. Perfect time. If there was any other team in the Western Conference playing the Jets after the Jets brought themselves together and won last night, I would bet them. Gas station taking Bucks -17 in game. God, I wish I was on that first quarter. All right. I'm not going to hum and haw over it. Dennis Garcia taking the Flames to win 3-1 at plus 175. That's a nice bet. I like that bet a ton, Dennis. I like that bet a lot. At least you're getting a plus 175, so if you lose, that bet makes so much sense. But again, I can't trust them, and I won't. I think I completely understand your ideology there. Viper MB, if they don't get Shesty in net, then yes. And let's move over to that game right now. Oh, no. Did we skip that? No, here we go. If King Henrik is in goal, take the first period over 1.5 in Hurricanes Rangers. I'm going to wait to find out because if Shesty's in goal, I'm not going to do that. What will happen is the Hurricanes, easy does it. No stress, no pressure. Svechnikov is a beast. And the Rangers are going to throw everything at the goal, and Mrazek's just not that good. Yes, yes, we already went over that. Clint. I'm on the Preds -1. Reese, if it's King Henrik in goal, just let go. Just let go. But the best bet will be the first period over 1.5. So I'm going to wait. If I know that it's King Henrik in net, I'm going to hit that first period over 1.5. Gate Pasky says Rangers coming firing may not be enough, but have to take the chance. I think the best edge on this game, without a doubt to me, is King Henrik announced in goal. We take the first period over 1.5 and count our money. So that's Hurricanes, Rangers. That's my plan. They also might not have Jesper fast. Brendan Lemieux will come back, give him a little bit of toughness. Okay, and then let's move on to the Canucks. This is the most value of any bet. -1 and plus 207. Look, it's been 5 years since the Canucks were in the playoffs. Then they get, one warm-up game against the Jets? And then they get stifled. Horvat, Pedersen, Besser, Miller, Pearson, Toffoli combined for 5 shots on goal. Do you think that's going to happen again? If it happens again, these 6 players aren't welcome back to Vancouver. And Pedersen is the only small forward out of that top 6. Reese says Nucks money line all day, favorite play of the day. The Nucks -1 at plus 207 to get that cash. Look, while they're a well-coached team, we know Gabby well. Their defense is very good. But Stalock is not a world beater. And if Pedersen, Besser, JT Miller, Pearson. They're not going to. They're going to step up. 5 shots on goal. They've been hearing it from everybody. Connor McLaughlin says, "Can't trust the Canucks. They don't look right. Hope they come out firing, wild, stifling them." The Canucks are a team with heart. And they got shut down by a tight defensive unit. It's not happening twice. Nate Dogg says Carolina sweeps. Cody AV says Stalock just got hot. He will have to play with that all series and don't think he can. Let's just go to win series right now. And I don't need to bet it. I don't need to bet to win series at plus 200 because I can get that when the Canucks win by more than a goal tonight. Canucks -1 at plus 207. They simply have a lot more talent. And they are hearing it. They know that this city expects more from them. And that top 6 is going to be able to step up. I have Mr. Ghost Vancouver offense struggling doing the same thing Columbus is doing against the Leafs. We'll see. We will see. I like my card very much, and I'm going to start attacking NHL. My leans are all cashing. And last night, everything was happening according to what we expected. And that's what we always talked about in NHL. And I would beat NHL by such a way and I would always tell you guys, I would like, in NHL, when it looks too easy, it's because it is. In NBA, when it looks too easy, something's wrong. But NHL, we can do this. Jacob taking Minnesota -1. Paco Healy getting -1.5 at plus 260. I got plus 325. I got plus 325 on that Canucks. Let me see if I still get that. Oh, no, you're looking at plus 1.5. Plus 1.5 is minus 260, but the Canucks -1.5 is huge. Oh, sorry, that's alternate. Canucks -1.5 is plus 325. I agree, Gate Pesky. I agree. I'm on the Canucks here tonight. I trust Markstrom more than I trust Frederik Andersen. And I think Columbus is a better hockey team than Minnesota. Connor Vlog says Canucks 4-2 tonight. We'll see like Wild to win the series, but if Canucks lose tonight, so no doubt. No doubt. But no doubt. And we know what the stats are for the team that wins game 1. I mean, it's wild. And 5, because we haven't had 5-game series in the NHL since 86, right? There's only 6 years that we did it, right? It was 1980 to 1986. I have these stats somewhere. Yes. Okay. So we had 56 playoff series from 1980 to 86. That were 5 games, opening round series. The team that won game 1 went on to win 49 of the 56 series, 87.5%. A team that won the first 2 games of the series, 55-1. The 85 Islanders, man, the only comeback. It's faith. Double O says Canucks money line. Yes. But you could also take the Canucks -1, it's faith, and bet less and make more. Don John 11 says, before I forget, Seth Curry's trash. With him or without the Mavs, handle it. Mavs, Clips, Blazers, Celtics, Braves, Rockies, A's for Don John. It's faith. What I would do is these 3 things in NHL. I would take both the Predators -1 and the Canucks -1. All you need is 1 to cash, and you're in the land of profit. And if it's the Canucks, big profit. And then when they announce King Henrik, I would take the over 1.5 first period and Rangers Hurricanes. Focus on your bets. Gooch played at 8. Nashville moneyline -130. Mr. Goxer says, I think Vancouver is in trouble. How about that? All right, let's go over our action. In baseball, No, it's Faith. No. You need to use the -1 calculator. So, no, I love you, Mr. Gokster. I love you, Mr. Gokster. We'll see. I'll be sending messages, very angry messages. Prince of the City, no. Where's your action? I don't think they're too young, Yenny. Yes, the Wild have more playoff experience. We haven't been in the playoffs in 5 years. Okay, I'll check it out, Prince of the City. Thank you for sharing. Oh, Miami chat. Okay. Mr. Coaster, you know I love you, buddy. Oh, Bellwise. Okay. Okay, I'm on Nationals. Okay, we're going to go over everything and put a bow on this bad boy. Nationals first 5 -0.5 and full game -1. So it's Faith. You got to get that -1 calculator. For some reason, when I post it here, it doesn't get there. But if you follow me on Twitter, it's on my. Anytime I make -1s, I put on put up the calculator. Nationals first 5 -0.5, full game -1, and the nervousness I have about it is just because Ant is on the Mets. But I got -115 on the first 5 -0.5 and -1 and -111. All right. Then I'm off of Blue Jays, Braves. I'm going to make a move on the Orioles. And look, I don't care if it's square. Thank you, Joseph Gomez. Thank you. Yeah, that's facts. Yeah. White Sox at Brewers, first 5 under 4.5. Rockies, first 5 -0.5, full game -1. Again, I'm going to be betting them, and that will make them official. So you have to follow me on Twitter. That's how I'm doing it now. So I'll bet them and then lock in the line. It doesn't make sense for me to give you this glorified line shopping at all the books around the world when that's not what I'm actually betting. So, it's not the line I'm actually getting, is what I should say. I know, Viper. I know and it's funny, Viper, because that's what we see too is when the star players are out of the lineup. Those G Leaguers play tough. It was a poor capping on my part. Astros, Diamondbacks, first 5 under 5.5. And that was 5 when Ant bet it. And then when he saw it went 5.5, he bet it again. Rangers, first 5 money line. I'm not sure what it'll be, but I believe it'll be plus 125 or whatever. And then Dodgers, Padres over 8. That's my MLB card. Yes, Kanaska, my man, all 25 games. Then in NBA, God, take Nets first quarter off of it. Only 2 bets for me in NBA. I'm on the Celtics -3.5. And I'm on Kendrick Nunn over 1.5 threes. Then in NHL, I'm on 2 bets. Predators -1 at plus 123. Canucks -1 at plus 207. And then I'm on the over 1.5 if King Henrik is in there. Yeah, it's Faith. I post them all on Twitter. They'll all be on Twitter. You got to come join us over there. No Co is on clips under 230. Thank you guys so much for rolling with us. Long show. Man, 25 games cap. We won't always be this lucky to have all this opportunity for action. I can't do it without you guys. Big thanks to our guest, Ann L. Please subscribe here at Odds HQ and check out our shows. Leonard Porch Jr., Brandon Lugo, Fat Wally, Andrew G., Mr. Gokester, Paco Healy, It's Faith, Jesse Daly, Gate Passkey, Canascat Reese, Viper MB, Yenny Toon with the big run from his aisles. I love it. Joseph Gomez, Dennis Garcia. Oh, Dennis Garcia. Perfect timing. It's Tuesday, so he doesn't put the article out. Michael Thal, thank you, my man, Mike. Thank you, guys. Sean Schmid, Tim Montana. All you guys, thank you so much for your support. Check us out, Odds HQ. We got shows nonstop. And Dennis says Brooklyn going to win the first quarter outright. It's the psychological situation bet that always happens in the NBA. It's the NBA is just perfect for it. And I'm just not trusting myself in NBA because of all the changes that have happened. But man, that was a perfect situational play. I just wish I had more time to think about it, but that game is popping off quick. I love you guys. Let's get paid. I will see you here tomorrow at 12 p.m. where we will have special guest Babano giving us his looks in NBA, NHL, and MLB. In the meantime, Lecce, hey, those bookmakers! Get paid in full.